So welcome back to the Creativity Series and today 9 of Part 3. Now as we move towards the end of Part 3, hopefully there's a little bit of space within the practice now to notice whether there's any sense of urgency in your meditation. So interestingly, around sort of creativity, very often if we're looking for a particular idea or solution to something, then it can produce sometimes a very obvious, but sometimes a more subtle sense of kind of urgency. And essentially, what we do when we do that, we move away from the present moment. So in the same way as yesterday, we were sort of reflecting on the practice, looking at how waiting for the end of the practice can take you away from the present moment. In just the same way, when you sit to meditate with an idea of wanting to achieve something very definite, very particular, then usually what happens is that you're projecting an idea onto the meditation rather than simply allowing the meditation to unfold. So it's just something to remember as you begin today's practice. That even if there is something particular you're looking for, meditation always flows far more easily. It's far more productive when you just momentarily let go of those things and just allow this process to unfold. But now just take a moment to get comfortable, and when you're ready, begin today's practice by taking a few nice big deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with the next out breath now, just gently closing the eyes as you become more aware of the physical senses. And now just bringing the attention back to the body, if it isn't there already, just starting to notice the areas of comfort and discomfort in the body. And starting at the top of the head, just scanning down, and as you scan, just noticing the underlying mood at the same time, how that influences, how that almost acts as a lens as you become more aware of those physical sensations in the body. And at the same time as you check in with those feelings, that underlying mood, at the same time be clear about your motivation. Clear about how, by taking some time out for yourself, you also benefit those around you. And reminding yourself that this aspect of mind, this creative aspect of mind, is something which is always present, like the blue sky. We don't need to try to bring it to mind. We simply need to remind ourselves of what it feels like. So with that in mind, just becoming more aware of the breath, the location of the breath, the rhythm of the breath, and just taking a couple of minutes now to settle the mind by focusing on that rising and falling sensation. Remember, it's not thinking about the breath, it's simply being aware of the feeling of the breath. So still with an awareness of the breath, but at the same time now, a growing awareness of that pinprick of light in the middle of the body, the level of the chest, say with the intensity of sunlight, and containing the potential for every creative thought you could ever need or want. and just watching now as it begins to expand. Remember, it's a naturally unfolding process. It's as though you're just watching it expand, bringing with it a sense of brightness, of warmth, of lightness. And just continue to watch that until the entire body has that clarity, that sense of spaciousness and brightness about it. And then just gently focusing the attention on that image, all the while aware of the breath. And with the next out breath, just allowing that brightness to expand well beyond the form of the body, and at the same time just letting the mind wander off and do whatever it wants to do. And then just gently bringing the attention back to the body, back to those physical sensations. Again, it's as though it's just a very natural transition. The meditation, as you open your eyes, still aware of those physical senses, hearing, touch. As you pause just to be clear about the day ahead, where you're going next, what you're going to be doing, the opportunity, the potential to be aware in each and every moment. And when you've done that, you can just sit back in the chair. And in many ways, I think we can apply this idea that I mentioned at the beginning of today's practice, this idea of projecting sort of an idea onto a situation, into our everyday life, and concept of mindfulness as well. So when you do find yourself in a situation where you could really benefit from that space of creativity, rather than sitting there and trying to come up with a solution or trying to force an idea, instead just see what happens when you step back from that. Remind yourself of that spaciousness of mind that exists, from which creative thought appears. And the more you get used to resting in that space, the more the creative thoughts that arise seem to be particularly relevant and helpful in that moment. So it's without any kind of expectation, it's without any kind of projection or idea. It's simply allowing those thoughts, that spontaneity, to arise effortlessly in the mind.